I'm starting a YouTube channel. Why am I starting a YouTube channel? Pretty much to document life, document business, being a dad, being a husband, being a business owner. I guess I should probably introduce myself. First of all, hopefully you've came from like Instagram or something, but if this is your first time seeing my face, my name is Ryan Proctor. I live in a small country called Northern Ireland. And for the past 6 years, I've been a business owner, into a 2-time business owner, into a now 3-time business owner. I also have 2 kids, Zeke and Ella, who are 5 and 2. And I'm also married to Julie. We've known each other since we were 11. We've been together since we were 17. She might argue was 18. And we've been married for 8 years. I'm gonna go on and say 8 years here. As I said, I'm now a 3-time business owner. So probably first business I started was Proctor Productions. I started that just before COVID. I've been doing stuff kind of part-time during COVID. I took that full-time, and that's a story for another day. But essentially Proctor Productions started out as a videography business, which then had morphed into a complete content marketing business, which is now transforming again into a content consultancy business. About 2 years ago, I had a dream, had a vision. Now, it was about 3 years ago I had a vision. 2 years ago I made that vision a reality, and that was to open a podcast studio. Now, even though I live in Northern Ireland, I live in a relatively small town called Ballyclare. I probably wouldn't say I'm the only one on Ballyclare that's going to be putting out a YouTube video anytime soon, but who knows, I might find other Ballyclare YouTubers and we'll unite. So I started the podcast studio in Ballyclare. It's literally like 5 minutes. We've just passed it from driving from my house. It's right there, above a boat on the main street. So I started that. I called it Killen Studios. I named it after my mother's maiden name, my grandfather, my grandmother, who have all passed, in a way to honor them, but also because my grandfather, Paddy Killen, if you ever came across him, if you know him, family know what I'm going to talk about here. He was an avid storyteller, and in my mind, one of the best storytellers to ever do it. And I'm not just saying that because he was my granddad. Literally from no age, he was making stories. He was making stories on the fly, and they were captivating. I think I even had a cousin that didn't know that he was pretending to be Santa till they were like 20 or something. Like my granddad used to phone us before Christmas and pretend to be Santa. He was just great. He was just great at that, building a character and building the story and inserting himself into the stories. So we've done that, and now we cater some of the biggest podcasts in Northern Ireland, which is perfect and ideal, obviously. And then recently, my third business was actually a first for me. So Proctor Productions and Killen Studios, I started that completely from scratch. Like, had no backing, no money. Proctor Productions, I pretty much started off a credit card and having my in-laws bring me back a camera from Japan because it was cheaper, and then slowly building up a collection of like cameras and lenses and equipment and skills. Proctor Productions, I was able to start with a bit of my own capital that I've built up from Proctor Productions. But my third business is one that I actually bought and took over. So as I grew this channel, as you get to know me more, you'll know that I have a love for coffee. I used to work in the coffee industry after I dropped out of law school. And that was kind of like the first dream, was to open a coffee shop. But different things happened, and that came from the A plan to the B plan. And the B plan being marketing and videography and everything else, which then became the A plan. In August, just past there, Julie and I were presented with an opportunity to buy a coffee shop, and we did it. Now it's great because this coffee shop that we bought, it's great for 2 reasons. The first reason is that Julie and I both worked in it probably over a decade ago. And secondly, it's actually in Julie's family, so it was Julie's uncle who previously owned the coffee shop. So it was kind of like a full circle moment. One, it was a coffee shop that I kind of left Starbucks to come and work in this coffee shop. The coffee shop's called Seasons. It's in Carrickfergus. Probably should have mentioned that sooner. But I started my kind of coffee journey in Starbucks, like probably most people do. I then moved from Starbucks to Season, and that's when I really started to like try and develop the skills to like run a coffee shop essentially. So I got to a point where there was downstairs seating, there was downstairs service, and most days I was running that by myself, but I was still trying to like create great latte art, like kind of, it wasn't the coffee shop's style at the time to weigh out coffee and things like that, but I was still weighing out espresso to try and get the best flavor espresso that possibly could out of the machine and the beans. I was making filter coffee. I was also starting to do bits and pieces with videography and photography. And I'd probably say like during my, I think I was at Season for two and a half years. I was there till just after I got married. Like I did a lot of growing. I did a lot of stuff really in that time. So to be able to come back and now that being a part of the story when I was, you know, in my early 20s to now it gonna be a part of the story for what could be the rest of my life is incredible. And I think that's what kind of prompted me to start the YouTube channel as well. Because for most of the businesses I've built, so I hate bragging, I'm not a braggy person, I kind of numbers, but Proctor Productions built to quite a big size with mostly being a solo entrepreneur. I hired freelancers at times, I hired editors at times. It was a system that never really worked. And at the minute with Killen Studios, we've seen a lot of growth in the last, I'd say kind of 15 months. It's the kind of different things that we've taken on there. Again, as the YouTube goes on, I'll probably break down like those businesses, how I started them, how I developed them, how we even came up with the pricing and products and everything like that, if that's something of interest. But I never really documented any of that apart from maybe like having a couple of solid runs on creating short form content on social media. But apart from that, there wasn't really anything else. So now with starting this business and it being like another new challenge, another new venture, but again, another stage in my life, I really feel like I want to start documenting this. I think there's a massive part as well. Like, as I said, I have 2 kids. They see me leave for work a lot. I've cut it down a lot in the past years, but I want something for them to look back on and be like, okay, that's what Dad was doing the entire time. Like, this is, you know, when he tells us these stories, we actually have somewhere we can go and visually watch those stories as well. And I think lastly, which I hope will be the most impact from this, because the kids, even like they'll be living the story with me. They'll be hearing me retell it. I always talk about building the story, and when I say building the story, it's sitting on a porch in a rocking chair, like telling to my kids, maybe grandkids, who knows, about this life that this old man lived. But I think the third thing is that I've been able to build something. It may seem small to some people, it may seem big to some people, but I've been able to build something with literally no skill or anything else. Like, I'm nobody special. And I'm not saying that as like oh, that's something everybody says. Like, literally, I'm nobody special. Throughout my whole time at school, I probably had about 40 to 45% attendance. I wasn't great in the school system. Through various reasons, I ended up then pursuing, like, going into law because I thought I wanted to become a solicitor. I dropped out of that after 2 years, and then I started a minimum wage job in Starbucks. They said when I started my first business, I applied for a credit card and started on that credit card. So I want to be able to show, whether it's other dads, other people, other parents, that there are a few things you need to do in order to start something, build something. But the biggest thing is just the action to do that. And hopefully I can show in all these videos and on this YouTube channel, like, just by taking that action, by taking small steps, where that can lead to in a couple of years' time. So that's a very big introduction. I didn't intend to talk that long whilst I was driving. Today, I'm going to be mainly in the coffee shop, and then we have stuff in the studio in the afternoon with Killen Studios. But first, I have to run to Tesco's to pick up some top-up supplies for the coffee shop for the business opens. So hopefully you stay along for the video. Hopefully you become a subscriber, and we can Nah, it's not too cheesy. I'm gonna say it anyway. We can build this story together. Don't know if that will stay. So that's season. Great old building, cotton mill. I think way back in the day it was a prisoner of war camp. So yeah, excited. Very, very excited for this. I've already pre-warned the staff that I'm going to be just talking out the back, and if they're wondering who I'm talking to you or the camera. Let them all know that we're officially YouTubers now because I've shot 10 minutes or something, and they're all on board. Don't know if they'll ever make cameos, but they're all on board. So I flew back from the States last Saturday. Today is the 30th. So whatever last Saturday was from the 30th, that's whenever I flew back from the States. I was there for 3 weeks. Networking, going to conferences. If you know, you know. Or whatever that means. So literally that day I got back from Miami. I left Miami at like 5 p.m. on Friday. Got back to Dublin 8 a.m. on the Saturday morning. And it was straight into being a coffee shop owner. That was when we had agreed to take over date. We kind of bought the business back in August. Well, when I say bought the business, submitted our offer and it was then accepted. I actually remember it was accepted. They had all of my mum's side of the family around, so we had like a big Killen party. And it was great, and it was great to be able to tell some people then, like my aunties and stuff, that, you know, we bought this business, and we're obviously going to start to weave a lot of family stuff throughout it. A couple of ideas I have is like, you know, naming the specials maybe after my mum, like Lisa's specials, or like Paddy's picks. Now, my granny was called Mary. I have yet to figure out what we could create to have her name in it. So if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. But that's when we had kind of submitted the offer. It was accepted back in August. Then because we knew we were going to be in America, Julie and the kids came out kind of the first week. I was then doing my thing with other business owners week 2 and week 3. So yeah, got back then on the Saturday and I was trained to be a coffee shop owner. So pretty much every morning I've been here for like 7, half 7. Some mornings I've had to go and do like a top-up run in Tesco's. I'm still kind of getting adjusted to like how the flow of stuff is. And today I'll probably be out the back. We're probably going to do some bits for social media. We've already been doing some bits for social media and just trying to really ramp that up. I also kind of have to figure out the staff rota. I've actually brought in, so on Tuesday I spent most of the morning bringing in a new rota structure. So the biggest thing with this business is, in the interim, yes, I'll be working in it, I'll be working on it, so would Julie. But as quickly and as effectively as we can, we want to take ourselves out of the business so that we're just working on it. As I said, I have 2 other businesses. Julie has her own business of wedding photography and she also helps run Killen Studios. So we know where our time, and not maybe our time, but the focus and stuff should be placed. And when we bought Season, it came with a staff of 8 people, and we're currently going through a hiring process of bringing more people in. So we have people there that we can delegate things off to. We just need to be 100% on the vision and make sure we communicate that vision to the right people who we know are going to implement it in our place. But in saying all that, when it came to the rota, then I had to restructure that to effectively take myself and Julie out of the business. So I was able to actually add a 5th person in daily and also reduce the wage bill. Let's try that again. I was able to add a 5th person in daily and actually able to reduce the wage bill by 25%. So starting from Tuesday when we open again, that's when we'll first trial this rota and see how that works. In an ideal world, it goes 100% the first time, but I'm making this on the fly. It looks good on paper in terms of a reduced in waste. We've added an extra person in, but again, customers, everything else will dictate actually who we need in, when we need them, how many people we need in for certain things. So we'll see how that goes, but I have to kind of put people in those places today and then send that out to the team and see what that looks like. Also, this week already, I've kind of chatted to the few guys that are already here, seeing what their interests are and tried to put them in positions where I know I want to grow. So we have 2 staff members, Leah and Farah, who both love baking and cooking things. So I have tasked Farah with the job of starting to bring in banana breads and different loaves. So she's actually going to bring in a banana bread today. I've heard great things. And then Leah, again, has an interest in baking, but we needed some additional help in the kitchen. So we had the conversation and she immediately wanted to step on board and started to become a kitchen assistant and then work her way into kind of being a cook whenever Nicole, who kind of our main head of the kitchen, whenever she's not here, then Leah and Farah can kind of work that as a team to kind of fill her space. Now, we are still hiring for a cook, so if you see this video and you're interested, send us an email. But that's been kind of this mornings of weeks has just been figuring everything out, communicating with staff, chatting with staff, getting to know them, and effectively looking then how we run this thing and improve this thing. We have a lot of ideas, which we'll get to in further videos, but yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm going to spend probably the next hour or so just doing more of that kind of stuff. We're also coming to like the end of a full week of like using all the suppliers, so probably task this weekend, which I'll catch up on in next week's video, will be to just see what's effective, what's cost effective. We probably are doing a lot of runs to Tesco's. I just don't know if that's because that's this week and it's been a takeover and we're trying to implement new systems and new things. But I know we also use suppliers to deliver like twice a week. So in an ideal world, we put more of the overload onto the suppliers and potentially then it's cheaper because we're buying a wholesale and buying in bulk, but I don't know that yet. So I'll update you on that. I still don't know how to end these bits and segue into the next one. So we're just going to, whatever the next clip is, that'll be next. So Farah has just brought in her banana bread. I'm trying to like get it so you can see like the inside of it. Very excited with this. We're only live taste test. I actually quite like banana bread. And we'll see. Very nice. Very nice. So that ticks that box. Season's not going to start serving banana bread. Probably put it as like a kid's dish in terms of like a kid's breakfast, but then also something you can have throughout the day. Next point will be other loaves then. We will start to see how far Farah can take this loaf, but that is superb. Come and try Farah's banana bread. So coffee shop owner hat off, podcast owner, operator hat on. This afternoon we have Mark coming in for one of his YouTube sessions. This will be like our third session now. Mark essentially came to us with the goal of starting a YouTube channel and then growing that YouTube channel. When we kind of found this out and did our call, I was able to use kind of the marketing skills that I would have from building Proctor Productions and bring that through now to Killen Studios to help come up with a strategy and a plan. So we obviously have the goal. We know we want to grow a YouTube channel, but what do we need to do to reach that? So we started working backwards. First thing we did was actually figure out frequency. I recommend it with anything when it comes to long form content, weekly is the best frequency. That's how it's going to build it. It's going to build it quickly. So that was the first thing. So we were doing weekly long form episodes, but then we were also going to use those episodes to get short clips out of that to repurpose through shorts, or reels. So again, Instagram reels, TikTok, YouTube shorts, and everything else. When it comes to long form content, that's always a strategy I'll put in place across every client in any business. Because if we're able to create long form in the right way, which I'm going to get to in terms of how we have done that with Mark, then there's no reason why you can't make life easy for yourself and repurpose that long form content onto the short form platforms. No one's going to watch a 20-minute video on Instagram, but they will watch 5 different clips from that 20-minute video to still get value and to still then follow you and come to you if they need your help with your product or service. So that was the plan. Grow the YouTube through weekly long form episodes by also being mindful of repurposing those episodes into short form clips. So then when we came up with the plan, The first place we looked at, which I always look at, is who is the client, who is the ideal audience. We built out a complete customer and psychological analysis for that. Then from that, we just created a 12-month content calendar. So every month we know what we're going to talk about. We know we have 4 topics within that month that we're going to talk about, and then within those 4 topics we have bullet points on the subtopics that we're going to repurpose out for short form. So as I said, if you do long form right, which is actually structuring it for short form, then you can get your short form videos out there and still make them feel different, still increase your value, your authority within the marketplace. All very business logo terms in this lifestyle vlog or whatever we're going to be calling it, but that's essentially the practice or the plan that we did with Mark. Was we structured it, we planned it, so it meant then come filming days we knew the month, we knew the topics. Mark then maybe bulletproofed them out a bit more with his precise frameworks or thought processes or ways that he would do things. He comes ready with that, sits down, records it, can give 100% of his energy to recording it, and we create great content then, which so far has done pretty well on YouTube, considering the size of the audience. Like, I think we're around kind of 1,000 views a month across kind of long form and short form, and that's only going to grow as we kind of get into this 12-month stint that Mark has signed up for with us. So now I'm going to sip this coffee because the weather is miserable. The studio is cold because there's been no radiators on whilst I've been out there and Julie's been out. And then I'm going to switch from Sean's podcast, the Public Nuisance podcast, which we recorded yesterday, and bring in Mark's personalized YouTube setup that we now have with him. That's another thing to add that we've done whenever someone comes on as a partner. So it is the podcast partnership. Mark's a bit different because he's partnered us with his YouTube channel, but it's still long form content, so we might change the name of that partnership. But when you sign up for that, we'll create a custom set that is only yours. So again, the whole purpose of Killen Studios is that you can come here and record 100 hours, 100 episodes of content that feels like it's yours in your studio. So as much as we can do that in our tiny space, we will get that done.
And what we're here to talk about today is that not every job is a good job, and people are really apprehensive about. They think they have to say yes to everything. Let's talk about the Christmas rush mindset. So it's all panic stations, and the issue is you're getting tons of inquiries, you're getting tons of If she'd have stood on that, she'd have dropped half a metre down.
Oh, aye.
You know what I mean? That would have been a disaster.
Why
did that happen? When you start to review things like that about your time, like, well, why did we run out of materials that day? Why on site did the guys run out of this? Why are they not communicating with me?
So that was a great session with, am I even recording? Yeah. Always gotta check. So yeah, that was a great session with Mark. We got 4 episodes done for his YouTube channel in around 2.5 hours. So as I said before, we've already kind of scripted out a rough 12-month plan that can be changed based on the information we're going to receive as episodes go out and things. So the plan's already there. We get the stuff prepped for these sessions, as I'd said before, which means then we can just come in and record the content, saving a lot of time, doing a lot of the back end, which means we can put 100% of the energy into getting great YouTube videos, as that's the priority at the minute to grow that channel. So it is currently 3:16 to be precise, making sure that didn't change whenever I held it up. Julie has a glasses eye appointment, whatever that's called, at Specsavers at 5:10. So the remainder of the time that I have, I'm going to spend here backing up footage, doing some work probably for Proctor Productions, not so much the coffee shop or Killen Studios, and then I'll be home for dad hours and dinner time with the kids. Hopefully I can still record some videos for this YouTube episode, vlog, whatever we're going to end up calling it. You guys are on this journey with me and we'll all be figuring it out together, as I've said multiple times. So yeah, maybe recording content may be too hectic, but we'll definitely get an outro film somewhere. So that's it. So I was going to sit down and do some work, but I forgot to bring my charger with me, and my MacBook actually died about 15 minutes ago. So I'm now going to have to go home and do that. So that's the new plan. But one thing I've always struggled with, one thing I'm definitely struggling with since taking on the coffee shop, is a noisy brain or a noisy mind. I always have ideas, things to do, things that I feel like I shouldn't be doing, and not things I shouldn't be doing as if it sounds like something wrong, but like, is this the right thing to do? Is it not the right thing to do? Could we try this? Was that a good thing to try that? And things like that. So since getting home on Saturday from Miami, it's definitely been the thing that has like just made this week a wee bit difficult. And I think as well, trying to balance like 3 different businesses at the minute with 3 different directions just adds another layer to that. So before I head home, because I definitely know that if I do get work done, I still want to be a bit chaotic, I'm probably just going to do a brain dump with ChatGPT, because at least if it's out of my brain, at least somewhere I can look back on it and know that it's there. I'm not going to forget anything. I've done it before and I've actually found it really useful, because I'm then able to get everything out. It's there. I'll also get some feedback, which sometimes is good, sometimes just doesn't help because it gives me more things to think about. But I think I know that if I do this, it'll probably will clear my mind up to be able to just go home, get work done, be really present with the be really present with the kids, like during those downtime hours with them, and then also just help with switching off then during basketball practice. So that's what I'll do now. So I'm going to use this project to pretty much brain dump everything that is in my brain to try and clear some space in it. So I think I just have a lot in my brain. I don't know what's best way to prioritize it. Is it better just to brain dump and then get it all out and just repeat that process? I am unsure. So that's what this is.
What you just wrote is the kind of raw, unfiltered brain dump that actually works. It gives shape to what's swirling around your head and lets you see what's actually there rather than just feeling the chaos.
Is that back for the body? You can see your whole body. Right, I'm going to fit that up. Don't take the acid.
Hello. 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 Ella! Don't be mad at me. Oh, look. Is that you?
Right, go sit down on the sofas, it's fine.
Oh, why are you so mommy?
Did you go on the sofa?
This sofa.
Now you watch your feet. It's okay, give me daddy's home for now. Alright, let's go.
Bye-bye.
Ella, go inside me, I'll help you.
Okay.
You should go outside yourself.
What? Where are we?
So pretty much from giving the kids dinner, I didn't lift the camera again to press record. I actually put the camera away because I told Zeke that I was becoming a YouTuber, and he became completely fascinated. He is now a YouTuber. He watches a couple of families on YouTube. It's like his go-to if he's watching stuff on YouTube, like A for Adley and Kintin, I think is the other one he'll watch like on the regular. So he was just going over to the camera after I'd switched it off and put it in a corner. He was like licking it, getting really close, putting his nose on the lens. It was just freaking me out, so I put it away.
As you can tell by my red face and the steam windows beside me, I'm just back from basketball practice, and right now I'm debating two things. First of all, go in and get a late night gym session done, and then shower, and then maybe do a bit of work to get ahead of tomorrow, or just go straight in, grab a shower, do a bit of work to get ahead of tomorrow, and then get up early to start it all over again. So I don't know yet, might update you in the next vlog, but I'm guessing at this point now I'll close out vlog number 1. And I'm going to be honest with you, I've recorded day in the life's lifestyle vlogs, those kind of things with clients. I watch them on YouTube every week, and when it came to being my turn, I was thinking to myself, yeah, this, like, I know what to do, I know how to do it, I know how to record it, how to set it up, where to set it up in the day, know what to get. And I'm going to make a confession. It has not been a walk in the park. It is very different watching it and having a small part in recording someone's day in the life compared to actually doing it for yourself. So yeah, I was going to say I'll catch you in the next one, but I feel like that's very cheesy, and I don't want that to be my close off. I feel like it's a very important thing to get right from the get-go, and I've taken a complete mind blank in terms of what that's going to be. So for now, hopefully vlog 2 next week. I'll see you for that one.